Yo, what's good? What's good? It's your boy Pen-GAME James, also known as Game Time, and you're tuning into the Poetry VybeCast, where we talk about the world of spoken word poetry. We do interviews with such artists, and we talk about the world of performance art. What's going on, y'all? It's been a minute, I know, right? Just been, been working, secularly, and in this world that we call poetry. Um, So let's get started. Let's talk about what I've been up to. As I said before, just been working. Um, but also really trying to better my brand. Chosen to become a solo artist, and this month will make a year that I've been making beats. So I've just been trying to perfect that craft as well. I finally dropped my second poetry album. It's called Ink Drop, and it's available on SoundCloud and on Audiomack. Um, I want to spend some time to talk about that whole process. Definitely loved it. Each poem, meant something to me, and I just love to create. Period. But this is the first time that I've ever had to, or I've ever had made in a poetry project that had beats in the background. I was just worried about how it would sound, and I'm so used to just poetry and acapella, that I didn't know if it was going to be received well on the beat side, but I got good feedback. There was like one or two songs where the levels was kind of off, where the level, excuse me, where the level of the beat kind of overshadowed some of the poem. But other than that, it was definitely a receivable project. Got a lot of listens. So I definitely appreciate those who took the time out to listen to my project. I'm very proud of it. I'm working on my third project. I'm hoping to drop that early this year. And also a second project that I've been working on as well. You know what I mean? So trying to do two projects. Hopefully they dropped. Hopefully I can drop them in the beginning of this year. And also I've touched on this the last time I had talked about it, but also just trying to navigate, just trying to navigate the best way that I can when it comes to um, not getting the support that that an artist feels like they should get, as far as from friends and family. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to continue to do what you love when you don't have that supporting system like you thought you did, or people are not rooting for you the way they would root for someone else. But what I've learned is that at the end of the day, this is your dream. This is your thing of what you want to do. So the amount of audience, the amount of support should not determine whether or not you can still do, your art or not. I think we get caught up in not getting supported the way we want to be supported, and so what we love to do with the art tends to suffer because of that. I've heard from many artists that they didn't get that much support, even from their own circle of friends and or family, but they still did it regardless. So for anyone out there who is a aspiring artist with the poetry or whatever form of entertainment that you are entering to, just understand that you may have to stand alone in your art, and you should not shrink or you shouldn't retreat or give up because you don't have that much support. If all you got is you, then so be it. At the end of the day, you have to love what you do enough to continue to do it without so many people watching. You know what I mean? There was a music mogul that had spoke on this, and I can't remember all of what he said, but I can recall certain points. I'm paraphrasing by the way, but he was saying that most artists they give up as soon as they start because of the lack of support, because of not getting the attention that they want, and also time. They feel like if I don't get by this certain time, then what's the point? You know what I mean? Those are one of the things that I have caught and remember. You know, and you can't let those things get in the way of your art, of what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like it has to be done regardless. I feel like we have so many people who want to do so many things in this world of art, and they get discouraged so easily. And as the audience, we miss out on new talent and new talent and new projects because of not being disciplined enough to continue to do something despite not having all of what a established artist has. You know, like you got to start from the bottom, so to speak. You have to, as I said before, just do this without the large group of support, um, and it may take you some time to really get a buzz going, or what have you. And if you are willing to take on that journey, then so be it. For me, I definitely wear so many hats. Not just a spoken word artist myself, but also I'm doing this podcast. I also have a poetry brand down trying to get some attention towards poetry room entertainment. Where poets and spoken word artists can come into and share their art on my platform. Trying to promote that and trying to you know get the attention that it needs. I mean, that's work. And also what I'm doing right now. I mean, wearing more than one hat. It's definitely difficult, but I'm willing to take on that task because I love these three forms of art so much to the point where I'm willing to put in that work. It makes so as an artist, you have to be willing to put in the work, the time and energy to make sure all these things are getting enough attention and they get done. That's best to get, honestly. What I mean. And lastly, I definitely plan on doing more this podcast episodes. I'll try to do it more often than I can. Trying to just make time for this. Definitely going to have guests on the show. Trying to have more in-depth conversations, and just continue to grow and get better. That's the goal right now, is to get better. But that's the update. That's what I wanted to touch y'all about. You know what I mean? Once again, I got two new projects that I'm working on, two new poetry albums that I'm working on. Hopefully to get them out to you all soon. Definitely gonna give you all more poetry podcast episodes as much as I can as well. And then continue to stay tuned with me. Continue to stay tuned to the Poetry VybeCast. And I'll talk to y'all later. All right.